afternoon, everyone. Ray from BigginScott Corporate here with Julie and Emily here today.
Hi, guys.
First of all, just to say congratulations. So 1 and 2 in the group for commission and listings, flipped either way. And in fact, we had 5 of the top 11 agents for the month were female, which is good. International Women's Week or Day during the month of Feb. Pretty awesome to see.
That worked out well.
It does. That's worked out well.
Didn't it? Yeah.
I might start with you, Julie. Like, obviously, we were talking a bit before about trust in real estate, and REA recently published a survey that they were looking at, how do vendors choose an agent, and trust was the number one sort of indicator there.
Yeah.
So for you, like, what do you feel that being a lady and being in real estate helps you to?
Yeah, I think you've got. I think we've got a different way of, as you call it, pitching. Yeah. The sales proposal. Like I have never been one of these textbook, right, go through the, step by step, very, very mechanical. I think we can be a little bit more fluid, and we can adapt probably to the personalities of the people that we're seeing, the potential clients that we're seeing. Because you've got to do, and it's always good if you know your client, what your client does before you go in and meet them. And then you can adapt your personality. And I think women do that better.
Like profession-wise?
I Google everyone.
Yeah, right.
Before I go in. Yeah, everybody.
Yeah.
And if I can't...
Well, the vendors are doing that to you now, right?
Exactly. And if you don't find them, well, you don't find them. But more than a couple of times, it's come in really, really handy. So when I've put forward why BigginScott, why Julie Taylor, I've sort of got a bit of an insight on, depending what profession perhaps they are, to how they're going to receive how I pitch certain things to them and the dialogue I use.
Yeah. And is that similar for you, Emily, the same sort of way?
So I've got a bit of a different clientele. Mine are mainly investors. So I do tell them straight how it is, especially with apartments. They've purchased off the plan. They're losing quite a lot of money. They need to decide, do they hold on and keep trying to pay the loan down, or do they cut their losses and move on? So for me, I think they appreciate the honesty. I've got the market share to back what I say. So I find it pretty rare that I lose business against a male agent, mainly because of, I've been in that area now for 9 years, so I know every building back to front. So I guess it's market knowledge, and I am just honest. So that works for me.
And for a newer, younger female agent that's sort of kicking things off, what advice would you give to them to roll up the sleeves and start grabbing some market share?
For sales agents going in? Definitely roll up your sleeves and give up your life. Don't have a life.
Yeah.
I'm going on nearly 10 years at BigginScott. And that's my one role in sales. I'm stuck at this company. I love it. And I think when you live, sleep and breathe real estate, you can't really not be successful as a female agent.
Yeah. Was there a moment for you that you realised that was sort of that breakthrough moment then, sort of fighting through as a female agent?
For me, I think because Julie was always my inspiration as a female agent, just because she's been around a long time. Not that long.
No. I know what you're saying. It's
longer
true.
Than me.
Yeah, a lot longer.
I would say probably around the 4th year or 5th year, I really got my bearings. And when Chris O'Shaughnessy, that kind of pushed me to go on my own, and then it just kind of snowballed from there. So I think just staying in your one area and focusing on that. I think agents' mistakes, especially if you want to be a female successful agent, jumping around isn't a good idea. Stay in one core area 100%. And just work your way up, and then people just start seeing your face everywhere.
And not only that, and then you get the referrals. Like a lot of mine I get from people that, like I've got one at the moment that I actually, it was 15 years ago. I sold her brother a property, and now I'm getting her property. It's just like Em said, I've been in Richmond for over 20 years. So even though I've only moved from what was Hocking Stewart to the boys, it is being stable
She remembers you from 15 years ago.
Yes.
That's impressive.
It is, isn't it?
Impressive.
But it's more to the point Em was making, is that, if you're going to keep moving around, real estate's up and down. You can have really good times, and then you can have some really not.
Yeah.
You quit. I don't go through that as much as I used to. Question what I'm doing when you'd have a bad time, or a run of perhaps missing number of listings or whatever the case may be. But that is something definitely you've got to learn to ride that wave. And when you ride that wave,
Yeah.
it's all good.
How do you ride that wave?
I just accept it and move on.
You do?
Yeah.
Well, I've had to. There's not a market I haven't seen or worked in.
Yeah.
I think the good agents survive. So
Yeah,
when
100%.
COVID hit, you can weather the storm. A lot dropped
Yeah.
off, but I think the good agents, they survived. So that really weeded out the ones that weren't so
I
great.
agree. Yeah, it's always keeping that nest egg when you're doing well.
When I first started selling products, I started selling pergolas. Way back when.
Yeah.
And my sales manager at the time, whenever he'd get a rejection, his thing was to go and have a strawberry sundae at McDonald's. And one day we had 7 strawberry sundaes and got 7 rejections in a row. So he got pretty fat. He wasn't very good. But it was a good incentive to
You've
keep
just
going.
got to rise above it and think, well, what am I doing wrong? And then the other side of it is too, you miss a certain amount of listings in a row, and the worst thing you can do is go in desperate,
Yeah.
because the client, the potential client, will smell that
Yeah.
a mile off.
You mentioned it before with a lady that you said from 15 years ago, that sense of community kind of really coming through. BigginScott Richmond are huge in sort of the local community, and you yourselves as well. Do you have particular tactics that you try and employ to build up that sense of community and people knowing who you are locally?
I think just by making sure initially, I think when you're at your opens, always make sure you're on.
Yeah.
And it's how you greet people, how you speak to people. I think that's the first point, because a lot of neighbours are walking around going in and out of properties all the time. An interesting one again, I'm going into a property tomorrow. She saw me, I don't know when it was, I couldn't remember seeing her actually. And she said to Ella, who works with me, I met Julie a couple of years ago. The way she treated me as a buyer was just great. Her follow-up.
Yeah.
And hence now, probably selling property now, hopefully.
So a simple thing.
Simple thing. I think
Treat
that's
people
it.
how you want to be treated.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's,
And just with supporting local, I mean, for me personally, I get a lot of coffees in Richmond. Go to all the coffee shops. I need the coffee. And just things like supporting the small businesses. So nails, things that pamper us women. But yeah, everything I do is pretty much in Richmond.
Yeah.
Just supporting the locals.
So local business.
Yeah, local
community
business.
visits. Yeah. And social media, do you engage that much?
Yes, and Ella does a page for me.
Yep.
So got that. You get out there. I mean, there's a lot of. I think social media too. It's a quality that you put out there.
Yep.
And we've got some great content. So it's good.
I should probably have social media. I don't know. It's it's a fine line to say, look at me, I've got another listing I don't know. For me personally, I think word of mouth, I get a lot of business. I don't really have a personal real estate page. I'm all for the BigginScott one, but
more showcasing the property.
More showcasing the property and the clients and the team. I don't have a personal real estate page.
Interesting.
I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing.
I think you do it. Yeah, you put on property. Like I put on properties that are of interest. Like I've had some really, really good properties. So I've put those ones on. Yeah. But I don't put anything about myself on, because similar to what Em was saying, I think you can get out there too much, and you've got to remember when you're selling someone's home or you're vying to sell their home, it's about them, not about you.
Yeah. So
you do too much about you on socials, and that could be then misinterpreted. There is that fine line. I think we're pretty similar like that.
Makes sense. Makes a lot of sense. Congratulations again on the month that you've both
Thanks.
had.
Thank you.
Final question that I had was in terms of ladies looking to get into real estate. You mentioned before it's pretty tough to break through and to get through.
It's not as much of a boys' club. When I started, it was a boys' club. Like, you've got no idea. And gradually, that has broken down considerably to what it was, 20 odd years ago. I think, I think it's a case of you've got to crawl before. I know that's a really old saying, but you do have to crawl before you walk. And you have to but try and learn from those that have got the most amount of experience.
Yeah.
Not saying that they're always going to be right. And I know I'm certainly not always right, but if you can work with someone or, start a cadetship or whatever it is with someone that's got really good professionalism behind them, like Em as well, that's got so much to teach, that's why I'd be getting in and starting at the bottom. So,
Yep.
That's the way I think you should do it.
Sounds good to me. Emily, anything that you would change about real estate for ladies?
For
Make one thing
ladies,
better?
I don't know. No, not really. I think it's great. I mean, I don't think we have it bad being women agents, and our office is pretty much 50-50 really.
Yeah,
Probably,
it
well,
is.
we've got more
It
women
is.
in our
Yeah.
office than
Yeah.
men, so it's a really good culture. I mean, the guys do really put Jules and I on a pedestal. As female agents in the sales team.
Yeah.
So I don't think I would do anything
No,
different.
I don't think there is. But like I said, everything's changed a lot.
Yeah.
Over, like, it's been a progression over time. But no, it's good, But you've just got to take the good with the bad.
Absolutely. That's real estate. It's a business.
But it can be very rewarding. Yeah. Really rewarding.
It's quite addictive, real estate.
Well,
I shouldn't say that. But yeah, it's a great career to have.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah.
Well, thank you both for your time.
Pleasure.
Chat today.
Pleasure.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.